You can leave it on. Leave it on. What's up, people? Um, we are live. My boy Fishen should be joining us very, very soon. We are going to have a very, very good stream. We're going to talk about a lot of exciting things. All of the 4 for 4 options at Wendy's. We're going to be speaking about every Taco Bell party pack. Um, Arby's has a new sandwich. Anything college football related. We got you. We got it tonight. Um, what's up, cheese? But yeah. So my main thing, and you guys know this from my previous stream, or if you've heard me in previous streams, um, I really, really enjoy college football as a whole. Yes, yes, I do. But I think today, I want to pull up some things, pull up some schedules, and not even just a schedule of a certain team, but I would love to pull up, and that's what I'm about to do, like week 0, week 1 schedules, especially with all of the talk that has been going on. I think we all can agree there's a lot of, how do you say it, excitement, not animosity. We'll just stick with excitement. A lot of excitement uh, about college football and the changes to come, the coaching, the recruiting, the momentum, all these little things. So we are going to pull up week 0, week 1, and week 2. We may just stick with those. I'm going to have Fishin join me in just a minute, and we're going to give you some, I would say, predictions, but more like who we're leaning towards in these games. I'm gonna turn my camera on in just a second. Trying to put my makeup on. Give me a second. Um, so yeah, I think that's how we'll play it. What's up, my people? It's your boy TV. I'm trying to get the phone to stay still. It's not going to. Okay. All right. Okay. Good. Well, I guess that's cool too. You guys can see. So, anyways, this is how we'll start this off. College football schedule. We are going for week 0. Okay, I like it. Week 0, Georgia's going to win 15-0. Is that what he's saying? He may be saying Georgia's going to go 15-0. But then that would mean Georgia went 30-0 because they went 15-0 last year. Yes, sir. Go Dogs. All right. So, Saturday, August 26th, my people. Wait, did Fishman think I meant going live at 9 his time? Did I mess that up? I hope I didn't mess that up. Fishing, I'm sorry if I did. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right, guys, we're ready. All right, here we go. We're ready. Good. We're ready. Good. Cheese, you ready? Motivated? Ready? Morty Sanchez, we're good to go. Okay. This is pretty cool. Navy versus Notre Dame at 2:30 p.m. They are playing in Dublin, Ireland. How neat is that? Cheese said, "Wait, make up." No, I'm just saying, guys. That's pretty neat. Navy versus Notre Dame in Dublin, Ireland. That's not a terrible game, and you get to see Notre Dame in year 2 of Marcus Freeman. That's his name. Yeah. So okay, we'll move on down. UTEP versus Jacksonville State. UMass versus New Mexico State. So just some smaller games. San Jose State versus USC. That's going to be the biggest team to play is USC for the potatoes. Hey, that would be pretty cool though. Both teams that went did get like a. I'm not talking just like a box of potatoes. I mean, they're colleges. So what if? I mean, they sent them a couple thousand pounds of potatoes. That would be really neat. And consider it's the Navy. I could see them donating to U.S.'s Navy. I'm sure we help out the Irish time to time. Cool. I like it. All right. So we'll be able to see USC as well. I think USC will destroy San Jose or whoever they're playing, but would be not. It will be cool to be able to see them. There's a lot of hype behind USC, and they have a nice recruiting class coming in. So a cargo bin, yeah, facts, bro. Yeah, a drum. Week 1, and I'm just gonna name a few of these games, and I'm gonna wait to really talk about the games until he gets on here. But few games of week 1. Well, not a few. We'll name the good games. We have a Thursday night game between Nebraska and Minnesota. Nebraska, who I am very high on, because of their hire of Matt Rule. I'm very high on that. They're going to play against Minnesota, who's Minnesota's not terrible. Minnesota's a really good football team. They're coached by I forgot his name. I freaking love him. They have a very good coach. He's very much a player's coach. He's got a great personality, great attitude, and he's going to be looking to make a statement that game to start off the season for them. But yes, Nebraska versus Minnesota. It's a great Thursday game. Florida versus Utah on Thursday. On Thursday. I love it. This will be at Utah because the last game was at Florida. Florida did win. This next one will be. This shouldn't come on. This next game is gonna be at Utah. It's gonna be huge for Florida if they can squeeze out a win. I don't know how this is gonna look. Billy Napier in year 2. I think Florida will give me better. I think they will be better. I think Billy Napier will he'll impress a lot of people. Whether they win this game or not, I think they'll be better going in year 2. And that is it for good games Thursday night. Now we're going to move on to Friday. Friday, September 1st. September 1st. I'm going to say this is going to be a big game. Cam Rising. Oh, I see you, Cheese. Miami of Ohio versus Miami, Florida. Now, some people are going to say it's going to be a blowout, but if you saw Miami last year, this might end up being a good game. Michigan State, not a great football team. They're going against Central Michigan. Might be a good game. Louisville versus Georgia Tech in Atlanta, Georgia. That will be a good test for Georgia Tech. They have a new coach. They have a new offensive coordinator. Got a few transfers in. So curious to see how Georgia Tech looks. They got a really good strength and conditioning coordinator from what we've seen. So curious to see how that works out. That is Friday. The 2 good games on Friday. Louisville versus Georgia Tech, and I'm going to say Miami of Ohio versus Miami. Love to see how Miami does. He said, give me Central Michigan. Oh, my goodness. Over Michigan State. I love it. I love it. All right. Saturday, the big boy games. Here we go. Saturday, September 2nd. We're going to go over some good games. You have, I'm going to say this is a good game, Arkansas State versus Oklahoma at 12. Oklahoma, everybody's been down Oklahoma. They've been downing them. They've been dogging Oklahoma. Doubting, downing, dogging. Oklahoma is not getting any respect. Is it necessary? Is it granted? I mean, it is what it is. So they're going to have to come out and prove, make a statement, and nobody will give them credit. If they beat Arkansas State by 40, nobody will give them credit, but they need momentum, something they don't have. Let's move on to the next one. Colorado versus TCU. Deion Sanders, his first collegiate football game as a Power 5 coach. He will be going against TCU, who has a national championship appearance last year. That's tough. That's tough. Very curious to see that. TCU without their offensive coordinator, Mr. Garrett Riley, who is now at Clemson. He is a Clemson Tiger, but that's still, you have those same players on that team. They're going to have momentum. They feel like they should have momentum, and they're going to feel like they should destroy Colorado. And they very well may. They probably will. But want to see Colorado come out with some fight. I saw this. Colorado has 10 returning scholarship players from last year. That's a lot of transfers. That is a lot of transfers in that. That's a lot of recruits. But let's see if they look like a different team. So Colorado versus TCU, that is a 12 o'clock game. We'll be paying attention to that. Maybe Tennessee fans, this is a good game. Virginia versus Tennessee at 12. I'm really worried about that one. Let's scroll on down, see if we can find some good ones. Ohio State plays Indiana at 3 o'clock. Not really finding. UMass plays Auburn. I think everybody's going to love to see how Auburn looks. I'm still not finding any good game. Oh, here we go. The University of Georgia will play against UT Martin. UT Martin is a team they're a great team. I could see Georgia winning this game by maybe a touchdown. So look for that to be the best game of the weekend just because it's Georgia, and Georgia will win by 71. Let's see what else we have on here. I really don't see. I know it's week 1. Oh, here we go. North Carolina versus South Carolina, 7:30 p.m. in Charlotte, North Carolina. That will be game of the week. Just from what I'm seeing so far, that will be game of the week. North Carolina trying to prove themselves coming out of the ACC. They are ranked number 21. To begin the season, they are ranked number 21. In South Carolina, who beat Tennessee and Clemson, South Carolina is unranked. Not a South Carolina fan, but I will say that seems a little. I don't. That seems a little out of whack. Um, I don't even know how to feel about that. Anyways, okay. Never mind. Here is game of the week: LSU versus Florida State. LSU number 7, Florida State number 3. That will be a good one. It'll come on Sunday, September 3rd, 7:30 p.m. Ooh, okay, dude. That's it's a decent weekend of football. I like it. Jeez. All right. We're gonna move on to week 3, and then we'll go back to week 0, and we'll talk a little bit about the games. Thursday and Friday, you really don't have great games. Saturday, these are the big time games for September 9th, which is week 2. Let's see. Not really seeing any. Nebraska versus Colorado. That will be a good one. Matt Rule versus Mr. Deion Sanders. Nebraska definitely has more talent on their roster. At least I think they do. I believe they do. But that'll be a really, really good game to watch just to see where both programs are. Clemson's ranked number 9 to begin the season. And like I said, South Carolina was unranked. That is wild to me. That's crazy. Kentucky's number 24. Ole Miss is number 22. Y'all telling me Kentucky and Ole Miss would beat Tennessee and Clemson? Did Kentucky beat Tennessee? I'm confused. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they did. Actually, let's go to the drawing board. We're going to look that up. Texas A&M versus Miami. That I want. That is a good game. The game of the two teams trying to prove that they're not mistakes. Let's see what else we got. That's Saturday. Texas versus Alabama in week 2. Wow. That's a okay. There you go. That's your game of the week right there. Texas versus Alabama. Texas number 10 in the nation. Alabama versus number 6. 7 p.m. They'll play Saturday night on week 2. That's great. Yeah, just going through this. You got Florida State versus Southern Miss. You've got games like that. USC versus Stanford. Tennessee versus Austin Peay. Nothing too wild. But I am going to go to Tennessee because I would like to see if yeah, I want to see. Come on, dude, bring up their schedule. I want to see if Kentucky beat them last year. Tennessee football schedule. There we go. It's gonna disappoint me if they didn't. So let's go through. Do I see Kentucky on the schedule? No, I do not. That's not even. Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry, that's wrong. Tennessee football schedule 2022. Oh, we'll look it up. I just want to see if they beat Kentucky. Wow. I did not know that. Tennessee beat LSU 40-13. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Listen. Tennessee beat Kentucky 44-6. Kentucky is ranked number 22, 24, whatever they are, this year. South Carolina beats Tennessee, beats Clemson, and somehow South Carolina returning all the players they're returning is unranked. I, I don't. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't even know. I don't know. I have no idea. Dude. That's little, little trippy. Anyways, yeah, back to it. I'm not even worried about that. I'm not even a South Carolina fan. I don't even know why that gets to me so much. I think it's just the fact of how wild that is, to be honest. Okay. All right. So we're back to week 0. Um, just sent me a message. Hold on, dude. Back to week 0. Navy versus Notre Dame. Uh, I think for myself, I'm going to say Navy versus Notre Dame. I'm going to go with Notre Dame. Just honestly, because I feel Notre Dame is a lot more powerful, has a lot more talent in their roster. Uh, yes, and that's really the only one of that week that even has to have a decision or even calls for it. The rest of them, you didn't really matter. Or USC versus San Jose State. USC is going to destroy them. But we are going to go to week 1. Thursday, you have Nebraska versus Minnesota. I'm going to take Minnesota because I do believe that Minnesota is going to be the better team, but I would not be surprised if Nebraska gives them a game or if Nebraska just looks fun to watch. I think they're going to look fun to watch. Florida versus Utah. This is a tough one. I'm going to go Utah in this one just because, yes, it's at home and it helps a little bit, but more of Utah having or not everybody, but a lot of players back. They have their quarterback back, and with Florida's got a lot of new pieces, a lot of young and experienced pieces, and especially at quarterback. I'm just very curious to see how, as it Graham Mertz that went to Florida, very curious to see how he does. If Florida had a decent defense last year. Don't forget that. So if they have a quarterback that can sustain an offense, I think it can allow their defense to stay fresh the whole game. What we got? Saturday, Miami of Ohio versus Miami. Definitely picking Miami in that game. I know Cheese said Central Michigan. He's taking them over Michigan State. I think I'm going to pick Michigan State, but I would not be surprised if Central Michigan beat them. Louisville versus Georgia Tech. I am taking Georgia Tech in that game just because I think Georgia Tech is going to be a little better. They did pretty good to end the year last year. I think they're going to be a little better going into this year, so I see them winning that. And then your Saturday games. Colorado versus TCU. I'm going to take TCU by 2-3 touchdowns. I think they're going to try to put it on Colorado. I think everybody knows that Deion has a target on his back just from how much publicity he gets. So, let's see. Virginia versus Tennessee. Yeah, definitely picking Tennessee to win that one. I'm going to say there's a bigger game. I can't find it, though. Oh, I think it's the Florida. Oh, North Carolina versus South Carolina. I'm picking South Carolina. North Carolina can be good all they want, but I think South Carolina is going to. I think South Carolina is going to come out rolling. I really, really do. I think they're going to come out rolling this year. Spencer Rattler coming back, his tight ends coming back, a few offensive linemen. He's got his running back back. He's got his wide receivers. Like he's their offense is going to be very, very. They're going to be strong. Then on Sunday of that same weekend of week 1, you got LSU versus Florida State, and it's in Orlando, Florida. LSU looks pretty good. They look good last year. First year head coach Brian Kelly. They also have a loaded roster. Now they have a better one now because they just got a really good recruiting class. I'm going to go Florida State though because Florida State returns a lot of people, including Jordan Travis, their quarterback from last year, who is a phenomenal quarterback. He's a playmaker. He's everything you can think of. So really, really excited to watch that game. I think Florida State will win. Um, Clemson versus Duke. Definitely taking Clemson in that. Let's see. We're going to week 2. Nothing. Let's see what games we saw. Nebraska versus Colorado. I may be crazy for this, but I'm going to take. I'm going to take Colorado in this. I think Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter. I know they have a few more pieces that we just haven't, really pulled up, but I think I'm going to take Colorado versus Nebraska in this. What's up, Jack? I think I am going to take Nebraska in that. I'm about to pull up Colorado's roster just to see. Actually, let's go to recruiting because I would love to see just what transfers they got. Let's see, 2000, yeah, football recruits. Because, like I said, I'm curious to see the whole transfer portal for them. I think they did a really good job of that. Um, so we're going to find out. All right, more. Oh wow, a former five. Oh, I know. No, this is an actual recruit. 5-star. You got the #1 cornerback. That's crazy. So he definitely will be starting. I mean, just because Colorado's so depleted and he's the #1 cornerback in the nation. Then you sign the #11 running back. He will be playing. You have 2 top 40 wide receivers. Um, I'm going down right here. This is you got the #6 offensive tackle. That's crazy. Oh wow, okay. Oh, this is a transfer. Okay, still though, like you've got a good bit of people on here going through a lot of top 100 players. That's for sure. Um, I love it. Just sitting, bro. That's crazy. Yeah, Colorado has got some really, really good transfers. Got a running back from Jackson State. They got Shiloh Sanders, the safety. They got Shador as well, the quarterback. Uh, Florida State D lineman. They've got an Ole Miss D lineman, a Missouri D lineman, an Auburn D lineman. A lot of these are transfers, guys. A cornerback from Florida State, a cornerback from Alabama, offensive tackle from Florida, D lineman from Tennessee, safety from Florida State, an edge rusher from Florida State, safety from Kentucky, linebacker from Alabama, cornerback from Ole Miss, edge rusher from Arkansas, edge rusher from Michigan, running back from Kentucky, safety from Arkansas, interior offensive lineman from Florida. I mean, guys, I could just go for days. So my point to you is, linebacker from Clemson and edge rusher from West Virginia. They're this is wild. But the whole point of saying this is their team is loaded with talent. And I know Nebraska has got some really, really strong recruits just from what I've seen. But that's the one part that I want to see in this Nebraska Colorado game in week 2, um, or in week 1, is I want to see how well both teams are coached with first year head coaches. Really want to see how, like, what offense they run, what defense they run. Like that's what I'm curious. Are they going to use their playmakers, which I think they will, but how well do you use them? That's going to be fun to watch. Um, just a lot of a lot of question marks, but just really curious to see how well Mr. Deion Sanders and Matt Rule use them. Okay, I've already went through Colorado and Nebraska. I'm trying to make sure I get back to where I was. Hugh Freeze is another one. We said that I'm definitely picking him to win his game. I'm just saying I want to see how well they look. Hugh Freeze is an offensive mastermind, and Hugh Freeze was not fired from Ole Miss in the past for bad coaching. So it's not like he had to redo and revamp his style of coaching. No, he's a good coach. He just got in trouble for some issues, and now he's back. So that's a lot of SEC fans are going to be curious to see that. I know from talking to Bama fans, that was another thing is seeing. They're just curious to see how they look, especially with this being what looks to be a down year from Alabama. Well, some Alabama fans don't think that, but some Alabama fans do. I guess I could post the chat, the link. But Texas A&M versus Miami, that is going to be a good one as well. So, like I said, a few good games. Texas versus Alabama. I'm. This is a very tough game. Quinn Ewers doesn't get hurt. Bama wins last year. So this is a very tough game to pick. Alabama does not have their quarterback, but the thing that helps Alabama in this situation, Nick Saban is one of the best game planners of all time, best adjustment makers of all time. And so since he's played them and he knows how they're going to play, I feel like he's going to do really, really good at combating what kind of style they use. So just like I said, very curious to see what you guys think on that. Would love to hear your thoughts on it. So you're welcome to join the stream if you'd like. I think that's pretty much it for week. Oh, that's week 2. I got you. I will scan over week 3 just to see. I don't know, Nate. You're welcome to jump on. I don't know if Fishen, if he thought it was supposed to be at 9 his time, or if I thought it was supposed to be at 9 his time. I really have no idea. But okay, I think Nate's probably about to jump on, and then I'll go over the week 3 games. Just see if we have some really good ones. There he is. Hello, buddy.
What's up? Is it alright? I can be your co-host for now until he joins.
Yeah.
All right.
First off, tell me how getting the PS5 set up is going.
It's pretty good.
You got.
I do have a camera, but I'm downloading the games I installed on my PS4 and.
So you were able to sign in?
Yeah.
Good. Very good. So the next time we play, you'll be playing on the PS5?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go through a few of these week 3 games.
That's fine.
See. What?
That's fine.
Okay. So you just tell me what you think about them. So Wisconsin. Wait, no. Did you hear what I said about Nebraska?
Oh.
Nebraska plays Colorado in week 1.
I think it's week 2, but
it may be week.
But you have to remember, I know Colorado is supposed to be terrible this year. But you got to remember, Colorado has like a 3-win streak against Nebraska currently. But not saying that Colorado's going to win that game, but I'm just saying they have a current win record against Nebraska. So.
No, I get that. And I was also bringing up the point of I'm trying to find the game to see if it is. Yeah, it is. It's week 2. But you also, and you have to take into account too of all of the peak that Colorado got in the transfer portal.
That is true.
But I went through and named some of them, and it's like, dude, they have. It's got to be anywhere from 15 to 20 recruits transferred in from SEC schools, and it's like they had 3 of them from Alabama. So you can't say, "Oh, those are just terrible SEC players." No, they're not. Those are good players.
Yep.
So I just am curious to see. I mean, he had it been 5 to 10 from just ACC schools. So I'm just curious. I'm curious to see how well all this gets put together. Having a defensive line and offensive line full of guys that were good recruits coming out of high school, or else they wouldn't have got scholarships to all these big colleges.
Right.
But Nebraska got a lot of transfers coming in of players who got playing time last year. Like, they got some guys coming in that are ready to play.
That is true. I think the one's from Florida, I think, too.
Yeah, they did. They have like 4 guys from Georgia, and 3 of those 4 guys got playing time throughout the season last year.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's just kind of what.
I agree. Like what you're saying, yeah. Um,
That's what I'm just curious to see how the full extent of it goes.
yeah. I see like an 8-win season or 7-5 or something like that from Nebraska.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm gonna pull up Nebraska's schedule, and you can tell me what games you think
It's pretty
Nebraska will.
nice. In the conference, it's pretty tough for them.
So Nebraska plays Minnesota.
Yep.
First game of the season. I'm gonna pick Minnesota to win.
I agree.
Nebraska plays Colorado. Game 2. I'm thinking Nebraska may win that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna be close with game. I think.
Yeah, I do. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I mean, unless Colorado just comes off there throwing that thing, but
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they have a win seasons or what do we call it?
yeah, record. Also, Colorado got the number 1 cornerback in the nation in the recruiting class,
That's true.
and that'll go along with Travis Hunter playing corner on the other side. So, yeah. Let's see what else we got. Northern Illinois. I'm going to pick Nebraska to beat Northern Illinois. Got Louisiana Tech. I think Nebraska beats Louisiana Tech. Nebraska versus Michigan.
That could be a trap game for Michigan, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, because it's at Nebraska. Last time and I was at that game. Last time Nebraska played Michigan at Nebraska, it went to overtime, and the final score was 32-29.
Really?
And Michigan won, by the way, and I think it's being closer to game 2, but and I also think that Rule kind of knows what to expect from Jim Harbaugh. So, I mean,
You just feel like he's going to put up his best fight.
yeah, I think so too.
Okay. No, I like it, dude. I like it. Okay.
What's the next game?
It is Nebraska versus Illinois.
Ooh. I think Illinois takes a little itty bitty step down this year, a little bit, but that's about it. And I think it's gonna be like a 17-10 game.
You're talking about versus Illinois?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I like it. Illinois is supposed to be pretty good. I know last year they had a strong team, so that's curious to see how that goes.
Yep.
See what else. We got Nebraska versus Northwestern. I might pick Northwestern to win that game.
Ooh. I don't.
I feel like we're going to lose one of those games, Illinois or Northwestern.
Yeah, I mean that could be a chalk game for Nebraska because I know Northwestern has been really garbage lately. Um, but I think, yeah, Northwestern needs to win more. I'll just pick Northwestern. I'll agree with you because I just think,
Yeah,
yeah,
I know what you're saying. Nebraska versus Purdue. Who wins?
Nebraska. I know it's a little bold, but I think is it at Purdue or because that's a different story.
I think it's at Nebraska.
Okay. I take Nebraska.
Okay. What about Nebraska at Michigan State?
Oh,
That's a tough one.
um, I don't trust Mel Tucker and his crew, but I won't be surprised that Mel Tucker and Michigan State win a field goal at the end. So
Well, in Michigan State, they have to get better. I mean, you can't get worse. They're terrible.
exactly.
Uh,
With, with Michigan State paying him like $92 million or something like that.
yeah. Maryland at Nebraska. I think I'm still going to pick Maryland.
Yeah, me too. I think the Tulia Tobacco
Yeah,
Top, yeah,
yeah,
Pineapple Junior is gonna
no,
light off.
he's pretty good. Nebraska versus Wisconsin.
I'm taking Wisconsin.
Oh, okay, because they got Luke Fickell, two first
Yep,
year head coaches. That'd be a great game to see, especially once they go through a bunch of games throughout the season and they start kind of figuring out their identity and all that.
that is
And then
true. Yep,
last game of the season, Iowa at Nebraska.
it's a rivalry game, Black Friday game. Um, I expect a lot of physical plays, but um, I got Nebraska to this one. If it's at Nebraska because it was at Iowa last season, so I got Nebraska.
Okay, I don't. I think
So
I'm going to have to pick Iowa just because Iowa was good last year as far as great defense, and they had who was it?
got really good offense, though.
No, but they just had that guy, the quarterback transferring from Michigan, right?
Yeah, but he's not like the JJ McCarthy. He's a general manager, QB basically, or full. I mean, uh, uh, field general. There you
Yeah,
go.
no, I know it's coming game manager.
Yeah, game manager. Yeah,
But knowing how bad their offense was last year, their
yeah.
quarterback was horrendous. There were times where I saw him, I want to say it was Ohio State or somebody. First play of the game, he throws an interception right to the cornerback. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, their
But
defense had just played great against Ohio State. And he goes and does that.
what the,
So,
yeah,
anyways, I'm just saying, I do think that if they are better on offense, Iowa's going to be something to deal with just because their defense can keep them in games. But we've just seen lately their offense can't even keep them in a game.
that is true.
So, is Nebraska going to make a bowl game in Matt Rule's first year?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Zona, what's up, big dog? Zona, what do you got to say about that? Do you think, Zona, that Nebraska will make a roly-boly game Matt Rule's first year? That's tough. Uh, so, all right. With that being said, we are going to move on to another team, and we are both going to be non-biased about this team. Okay.
Oh, by the way, what was the record? By the way, for Nebraska?
Let's calculate. Let's tally it up here, buddy. All right. You said so. That's L. So 0-1, 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 4-3, 5-3, 5, 6-3, and then so 7-5. Yeah.
All right.
Zona says he thinks Nebraska is going to go 4-8, but there are a few games like Michigan State, uh, the Wisconsin game. Iowa, Northwestern, Illinois. There's a few games that could go either way, so that's not a bad. I would say the ceiling is 7-5, and I would say the bottom, the ground, is 4-8.
Yeah,
That's a good point. Next, are y'all cool with this? I would like to pull up Florida State's schedule since we're all non-biased and go over that.
I think they're way overhyped. I think they are. But
Tough, yeah. No, I mean I get it. They're getting a lot of hype right now.
after 1 year.
Okay. So LSU versus Florida State. This one is going to be at Florida State, if I'm correct. I'm going to go Florida State. I felt like last year it was at LSU, and I know it was LSU's first game with Brian Kelly, and we saw LSU play terrible at first, and then they all of a sudden just picked it up and started playing a whole lot better. So they've got the ability. We know that. But I think Florida State is returning so much this year. I think Florida State's going to be strong. I mean, I know you're saying they're being overhyped, but I do think even though they are being overhyped, I do think they are going to be strong. They've got Jordan Travis coming back. They've got the wide receiver that's like 7'8". He's coming back. You've got your tight end coming back. You've got another wide receiver. You've got 2 out of your 3 running backs from last year coming back. 4 out of your 5 offensive linemen coming back. Your offense was your strong point last year. Well, then in the transfer portal, you got 3 linebackers and 2 D linemen that came in. So I'm actually going to look up who they are, because if they're good players, then I could see their defense getting better. If it's just like some random people, then it's not going to really matter. So I'm going to look them up real quick. Just a second, everybody. Wow. They signed the number 12 offensive tackle in the nation. He's 6'8", 300. Jones. Who's Jones, Jay? He said Jones is awful. Okay. All right, I'm going to try to find the transfer part of this. Oh, here we go. They got a 6'4", 200-pound wide receiver transfer from Michigan State. They got an edge rusher from South Carolina, who he's a DN. Oh, Jay Shipes, got you. Dude, I haven't seen Black Mirror. Is that a good TV show? They got a transfer from Auburn, an interior offensive lineman, was a 4-star at a high school. They got the best cornerback off of Virginia's team to transfer to him. Oh, okay. They got another. Oh, Jaheim Bell, the tight end from South Carolina. They got him. That's right. And they got a D lineman from Miami that was really good as well. So, okay. Their defense will be a little better. Just, I don't know. It's just tough. That's tough, mate. I'm just curious as to how that goes. But we're going to go back to their schedule, okay?
That's fine.
All right. Florida State versus LSU. I'm going to take Florida State. I don't care if it's by 0.7 points or 27 points. Florida State versus Southern Miss. I think we both can agree Florida State is going to beat Southern Miss. Yes?
Yes, I agree.
Yes. Slim, show me your camera real quick. Show me that there purty face, buddy. Hey, that's his face right there.
No, that's my steering wheel, but whatever.
Well, as much as you drive, that's kind of the norm.
Well, actually, I was just dropping. I'm in town. I was dropping off a check to the contractor.
Oh, okay. Well, tell me what you think about the Florida State LSU game. I know people are saying Florida State's getting overhyped. I can say this about LSU. They played terrible to begin that game and still made it a close game. And anyways, you know what I mean. They made a lot of mistakes and still almost won that game. but I do think Florida State's defense will be better this year, and they return a lot of their offense, if not like 95% of it. So, how do you feel? What do you think of that game?
I actually think this is a still going to be a fairly close game. I think LSU's more talented. I think Florida State's more experienced.
Yeah, great way to put it. Yes.
Now, when I clicked on the show, you said somebody got an offensive lineman from Miami. Who?
Let's see. It had to have been Florida State. That's who I was just talking about.
Okay. Well, in case nobody's watched Miami's offensive line over the past few years, don't fucking trust him.
Yeah, no, it said, of course it said he was a 4-star coming out of high school, and that's why I was just saying, I feel like you will agree with me on this. With Miami's offense always having a new offensive coordinator every 2 months, I feel you don't know the full potential of a kid at any position on offense.
That's a very accurate statement. Yes.
Now, I'm not saying he could go there and be trash. I'm just saying. So that's all I was just bringing up.
And you saw it with a lot of the transfers Miami had.
Yeah.
It was attitude with a lot of guys.
Oh, agreed. And
if they're gonna half-ass it at Miami, what makes me think that they're not going to half-ass it somewhere else?
And they're in those two teams. Just because it's Florida State and Miami, that's what we're talking about. They're at two different spectrums of where they are as programs right now, currently. And if you're Miami, you need somebody that's fully bought in. I don't care if you're a good player. I don't care if you're destined to be a good player and you have a lot of potential. If you're not here for the buy-in to help build this program, we don't want you. If you feel like you need to go to a program and they're already winning and you can be happy and that makes you happy, go. That's fine. But that's where I think players that left Miami was exactly what Mario wanted. So
it is exactly what Mario wanted, and I think what you're going to start to see out of that team this year is some of that Mario Cristobal attitude that even those Oregon teams that he had possessed. It's gonna be very physical, tough, smash mouth football out of them.
I agree completely. I think you heard me the other day when I said that I saw that interview with Mario and Josh Pate. I don't know if you heard me say that.
I don't know. I don't remember you saying it off the top of my head, but I have seen that same interview.
I was what you know what? I may have said that I was going to tell you I saw that, but I was never have really heard Mario speak, outside of just press conferences, but I was very impressed by his attitude, his demeanor, his philosophy. Like I was just very impressed. I loved it about, just the whole him talking about the recruiting class coming in and how he feels every single kid they brought in is bought into what the program is destined to be. So that's, and he feels like the older guys that are still there feel the same way too. And there's a really good mix of veterans and, rookies coming in. So it just seems like he feels really good about the program this year.
Yeah, well, and they kind of alluded to it at the beginning of the interview. Mario was much more candid last season on a microphone than what he usually is, and hasn't shied away from the problems that he saw there as soon as he walked in the door. That's why I didn't have high expectations for last year, and granted that may be bleeding through into this year for me. I don't know. To me, Miami's a wild card. They could absolutely they're going to improve either way, but they're a wild card in the sense that they could win 7 games or they could win 10 games.
Oh well, and that variable, I guess that you're talking about, I'm thinking of is if they are going to bring that fight. That that's that thing you can't count on paper. If they're going to
Yeah.
bring that, they have that already. Then I do see it. So
Because I don't think anybody disagrees that they're much more talented than the 5-7 record from last year.
yeah, yeah. Well, and if I was a Miami fan with the recruiting class that we got this year, the record to me is not as big of a deal as it is to see some of these young guys get put in and make plays and go, oh my goodness, we're like, yo, you know, like how do you feel about that? Are you more wanting the record to be good? Do you want to see playmakers? Do you want a little bit of both?
I'm less concerned about the record. I think you're right. I think when we look back in 10 years, this will be the team that everybody say turned it around and put them on that track.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah,
despite what their record is, because like I said, they're kind of a wild card to me. But we got rid of some receivers that obviously didn't want to play receiver because you don't. I've said it till I'm blue in the face. I feel like you don't come to college to learn how to catch football.
I know.
And
Some don't know how to block.
yeah, but I mean, we also brought in something that I think this team has been missing since about 2018, and that's somebody that can just take top off of defense. And they brought in a transfer from Louisville, was originally in Alabama.
Was that the very fast kid?
This guy's clocked a 4.25 40.
That's the one I'm thinking. Okay. Well, and back to what you just said, because I know what you're saying now. You're saying, what was your point before taking the top off the defense? You were saying, you don't come to college to learn how to catch. Your point is last year you had a lot of drop balls. Like that's where you were going with that.
Yeah, Alabama led the nation, but we weren't far behind them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that.
And that's been Miami's problem for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Well, and I think we actually had this conversation before because I was like, yes, we did because I remember going, do you think it's because they're bang bang plays and it's like the quarterback's getting it there a little too late? And your reply was, no, these guys are open. They are wide open. It's out routes. It's little like in open space, and they're just dropping the ball.
Well, perfect example. Sometimes it is open space, and sometimes it just. I've literally seen a corner take the ball out of a receiver's hands.
Got you.
Or the Texas A&M game, there was about 5 or 6 where Tyler Van Dyke hit him in the numbers. You can't ask for any better than that.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Well, and I'm gonna finish Florida State's, and then we'll go over Miami's with you on schedule. Tell me what you think. So we've got. What do you have for Florida State LSU game? Who you got winning?
I'm probably going to go with LSU because I do think they kind of wash out, like I said earlier, as far as talent versus experience. I do think the difference will be that Brian Kelly is at the very least at this point in his career, Brian Kelly is a much better coach than Mike Norvell.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree. I'm going to pick Florida State to win that, but I also know that, or I also believe, I think that game's going to be close either way. Like I do believe it'll be a less than 10-point game, if not less than a touchdown.
Okay. I can see 7 to 10 points.
Just from a you got up by 7, and then the other team's desperate trying to do something, and you get a pick, or you end up putting them in 4th down, and you get it, kick a field goal to secure the game. I could see that. But
yeah,
second game, Southern Miss versus Florida State. I think we're going to pick Florida State. Florida State versus Boston College. We're going to pick Florida State. And then this one, Florida State versus Clemson. Florida State has not beaten Clemson in a long time.
And that's going to continue.
Okay, so you do feel like Clemson. Now I do think Clemson's going to be a lot better this year. Last year they had a terrible offense, terrible quarterback, and then now you've got Cade Klubnik, who's a lot better, and you have a better offensive coordinator. The defense is still good. It just had to play the whole game last year, stay on the field every minute. So I think that's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all that, and I think that bringing in Garrett Riley is really gonna bring Clemson's offense out of stagnation.
Yes. Because last year it's not, well, Clemson didn't put up 40 points a game. It's like, no, that's not the point. The point is Clemson's offense looked like Florida's offense. You either got 7 plays or you got 2 plays. Like, and it's like, what do you mean? You should get 3 or 4 plays. No, that's not my point. Is Anthony Richardson would just do something dumb, and now your offense is right back off the field. Like,
Well,
DJ,
it's easy to point the finger at DJ, and plenty of the blame goes with him. But Clemson's wide receiver core did not give him much in the way of help last year.
No, and Cade Klubnik looked better, but he also ran the ball better. DJ was not the fastest quarterback or quickest, and we did see Cade make a few good plays on his legs. So there were times.
I don't think Cade's more of a runner. I know he's fast, but look how he ran with the ball. He almost fumbled the ball during.
No, I know what I'm saying though, Nate. The same way that Stetson Bennett, what he did, he wasn't. I don't know if that makes sense. Like if there were 4 or 5 yards open, Cade's taking that 4 or 5, if not getting 6.
Yeah, no, I get it. Sorry.
So he was keeping his offense on the field for longer, which then made Clemson a much better team.
Well, and they had so many design plays for run plays for DJ that I thought were ridiculous. And on top of that, I mean, sure, he's not, DJ's not winning any sprinting awards, but let's not forget that DJ's 6'4", 6'5". He's going to cover stride than somebody like Etienne is. So he doesn't have to run 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, agreed. And he is going to fall forward. He is going to. No, I get that.
That's a big boy.
And it just, you could tell that whole game plan, 1 was relied on too much, and 2 did not work as well as they thought it would.
Yeah, I don't think, and I kind of agree with Pete's take on it. I don't think DJ's skill set fit what Clemson was trying to do offensively.
No, yeah, I agree. It was almost like, hey, we have this guy, well, let's try this out with him. And then it just didn't work, and I thought, well, what do we do now?
It's kind of like trying to throw, Michael Vick into a pro style offense, and you're not taking advantage of his skill set here, people.
Yeah. It's not saying me and you believe that yes, Michael Vick would have done well in a pro style offense, but it's like, bro, but you're wasting so much of his talent. That's like taking a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield at running back and saying, no, we're going to run you between the tackles only. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
What's up, Traveling? Okay, let's go to the next one.
So do you agree that Clemson's going to beat Florida State?
Oh, that's a tough one, bro. I picked Florida State. I picked Florida State to beat LSU. I'm going to pick Clemson to beat Florida State, but I will go ahead and call it. You're going to see Clemson versus Florida State in the. There's going to be a repeat.
Ooh, I'm not even sure that's going to happen, sir.
Really? Who do you think will beat Florida State? Besides Clemson?
Well, Miami's got just as good a shot as anybody. I don't care what the score was last year because I've seen it happen. I've seen Miami win by a lopsided score, turn around the next year and lose. I mean, this is a pick'em game to me, regardless. I don't care who people think is up, who people think is down. Even if everybody's got Miami as consensus number 1 and Florida State is looking like Vanderbilt, that's still a pick'em game to me.
Well, forgive me because I don't know as much about the ACC as I should. I did not realize Miami was in Florida State's side, and of course I should have. They're like 3 feet apart. But okay, I see what
Well,
you're
no,
saying.
they're doing away with divisions, but as far as your opponents that
One
you
and
play
two.
every year, they kept Miami and Florida State together.
So okay, so y'all did y'all go away from divisions this past year or this year coming?
This coming up season is the first year their divisions don't exist anymore. It'll
Okay,
just be the teams with the two best records.
and that's I know SEC's doing it next year. And really quick, what's your opinion on that?
Um, I think they did. I think they could have done it better. I think they did a terrible job at putting teams together that should have been put together.
Okay, okay. Uh, all right. Well, I think we're both going to agree on Clemson beating Florida State. I think Florida State beats Virginia Tech and Syracuse and Duke. Um, I don't know about Wake Forest because I don't know what they return. I know last year they were pretty strong. Do they still have the same coach?
Well, yeah, they have the same coach, but Sam Hartman's now at Notre Dame. Um,
That's
but
right.
but they seem to have a pretty good offense, regardless of. It's almost kind of like a Lincoln Riley thing. It's almost kind of become plug and play with that system at Wake Forest.
Okay. So, well, then that game to me will depend on Florida State's defense, which we will know by that time of the year how their defense is.
And I don't have a whole lot of faith in it.
Yeah. Well, and I know right now, Florida State, yes, they're returning a lot, but their defense last year struggled a bit, especially at times where they needed them not to struggle. And the transfers they got in, can they rely on their transfers to make their defense better? That's tough.
Well, in my experience with transfers, I've had this conversation with Lou. And just the way it seems to work out, you can get one out of the bunch that can step right in and make big contributions, but that's about it.
Yeah. No, I see. I get that. All right, Miami versus Florida State, and then Florida versus Florida State. So you're saying that's going to be a pick'em game. So you just want to leave it at that?
Yeah, that 50-50. Flip a
Okay.
coin. That's my opinion of that game every year. Florida State should beat them, but then again, I thought Florida State would have handled Florida this past year, and we saw how that turned out. That defense made Anthony Richardson, look like a first-round pick, and it might have been what made him a first-round pick.
Uh, uh, yes, especially it being the last game of the year like that in their season. Yeah. Florida versus Florida State. I'm going to pick Florida State just because Florida has no. I don't know. Maybe Graham Mertz comes in and looks great, but I just feel like them not having a superstar, which I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Billy Napier's offense look better when he has a game manager and not a superstar.
Well, I'll say this. For Florida's sake, I hope it's like a Martinez situation from Nebraska. He went over to Kansas State and looked a whole lot better. So maybe Mertz will get down there with Billy Napier and look a whole lot better than what he's looked at Wisconsin, because it didn't look good at Wisconsin.
No, but that was my thing with Clemson with DJ is Clemson would have looked better as a team if they sustained offensive drives. Florida would have looked a whole lot better as a team if they sustained offensive drives. That Florida State game, perfect example. I think DJ was like 9 of 26. I mean, he had yards, but it was the fact 9 of 26, and everybody's like, "Oh, dude, he played great." What?
Well, DJ played great in the first half. I've got to put that on the offensive coordinator. I mean, that Clemson took their foot off the gas in the second half and messed around and let Florida State make it closer than it probably should have been.
Got you.
And that's my problem with Florida State. I mean, there's a plethora of those games. Wake Forest being one of them, NC State being another. I mean, Devin Leary went down in the NC State game against Florida State. Florida State had a lead at halftime. NC State had a wide receiver taking snaps at quarterback because they had nobody else. And NC State, doing nothing but running the ball, came back and won that game.
Give me just a second.
Jay, I don't know what Sea Dog and Rec Talk are smoking, but nobody's worried about Georgia Tech, sir.
Hear me now? My bad. Yo. Slim.
Yo.
Okay, my bad. My phone just died on me.
How dare you?
So okay. Anyway, like I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by my battery. No, you were actually interrupted. You were just saying Miami or Florida State has had a bunch of games, that you've seen that you're like, dude, like y'all will just at some point during the game, you just kind of stop putting your foot on the throat.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's less putting their foot on the throat or. I mean, to me, that NC State game is unexplainable and unacceptable. And until they stop having losses like that, I can't say that they're not going to have losses like that.
I got you. No, I get it. If they can prove that.
That's a team that just had no signature win last year. Yeah, their record ended up looking good on paper, but okay, your best win is what? A 4-loss LSU team? That's your best win?
I know.
Sorry for not talking as much.
No, you're good, Nate. My phone died. That's what happened.
Okay.
But okay, I just I do agree though. Florida State's going to have to prove it. I know Florida State fans are really excited about this year just because of what they got last year, but being consistent is what we've seen struggle from Florida State, and this is going to be the year that if they are consistent and they look good, then they'll prove a lot of people. But if they slip up and this year ends up being not saying a terrible year, but if they win 8 games this year and that's it, then people like you who have said this the whole time, that's going to be your point. That is going to be your exact point of why it's hard to give Florida State their credit.
Well, and I think that it's coming from the fact that, Billy Napier is trying to build his team out of the portal every year. We've all said it. You can fill a position of need. You can, bring in a couple of guys. Hey, I need a guy here. I need a guy there. Maybe just need some depth here to create better competition. But when you're trying to build your roster through the portal, it's to me, it's not a good sign.
Now, and let's agree on this because I do want to bring this up. At Florida, it's not a good sign. At Florida State, it's not a good sign. But at Colorado, or at Nebraska or Wisconsin, I'm not mad at you because you don't even have the roster that you need to compete.
Right. Well, that, and you're also talking 3 programs with first year head coaches. Mike Norvell's going into what, his 4th year?
Yeah, no, yeah, great point. Yeah, you got Matt Rule, Luke Fickle, and Deion Sanders. Yes, they're just trying to be competitive in year one by adding a little firepower. Mike Norvell going into your 4th year. How have you not recruited to have depth?
Right.
No,
And even Miami's case, I'd say this for my own team, but when you are purging your roster of players after coming in your first year, of course you have to bring in transfers uh, just for depth issues.
yeah, no, yeah,
But
I know.
it's a completely different situation when you're in year 3 or year 4. Now, it's also a completely different situation if, and I'll use Miami as an example again, if you're recruiting fine as well as bringing in transfers. The problem is Mike Norvell is not recruiting just fine as well as bringing in transfers.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. Yeah, I agree, Huffer Billy. Saying FSU better stop using the portal next year. He needs to recruit better and invest in his recruits. Yeah, I get it.
Well, the
What's up?
problem is he can't get the recruits. I mean, you okay, great. You're Florida State. You know, you beat Miami by 45. You beat Florida. You're state champions. You won whatever it was, 9 or 10 games with the bowl win. Congratulations. Miami and Florida both out recruited you.
And that's wild to me when I saw that with Florida because people were dogging Billy Napier, but for him to out recruit Florida State, I thought that was that's a plus if you're a Florida fan because you out recruit somebody 3 years in a row and now we're talking. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, anyways, I would like to. I'm guessing you just got back to the house. If you want to go, it is okay. I would like to go over Miami's schedule with you, if that is okay.
Yeah, I got a few minutes. I just lit a cigarette. And I'll answer Coach Dante's question real quick. There is no excuse losing to Duke, but you're going to lose to anybody when you turn the ball over 8 times.
Yeah.
That's just how that goes. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. You turn the ball over 8 times, I'm gonna bet on you to lose the game, and that's exactly what Miami did. They turned the ball over 8 times against Duke.
Yeah. Franchise. I I don't know if Fishen thought I was setting it for, or I don't know if I was supposed to set it for 9 his time. I set it for 9 my time, which is an hour and ahead. But it's 10 now, so maybe we'll get him on in a bit.
Fucking Florida, man! I swear to God.
Then also motivated, yes. He said Colorado had to use the portal. Deion cut 75% of the team. Yo, uh, what is it? Colorado returned 10 scholarship players. And I know we know why that he cut and basically pushed everybody out. He's trying to revamp, and that's the thing that I do have respect for Mario and Deion. They're not scared to tell you. They're not scared to say it. And it's like, to me, that's the kind of coach that I want. If I need to go, I'll go. But if you want me to stay and you got that, then I know you'll be real with me.
Right.
I don't
And see,
want
that's why I'm less worried about, because a lot of people want to throw up Mario's record at Oregon, which number one is pretty good, but number two, well, they fell short. Everybody was picking them to make the playoffs, and they didn't make the playoffs. Why were you picking Oregon to make the playoffs? I would not pick any coach to make the playoffs in his first 3 years at his first ever Power 5 program.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. That's a yeah. All right,
Sure, Kirby did it, but I mean, y'all were just as surprised that Kirby did it in his second year as anybody else. Nobody would have picked Kirby too.
Well, and to your point, that's an exception. But yes, did not know. And the part that got me was that first year with Kirby, how many people dogged him from Georgia fans. I can't believe it. We need to get Rick back, But and I'm like, yo, like, are you not watching these games? We're hitting harder.
That's also the norm of what happens first year at somebody in any program, you have a worse record than you did the previous year.
That is true.
Yes, it is, but I wish people had common sense or thought logically in, hey, he is installing his culture. And in watching these games, do you not see us hitting harder? We look like we're trying to break people in half every single hit. Like, be excited about the future instead of freaking out about the now. You know, it's not like it's his 10th year. And then when we went to the championship next year, it was like, yo, like, he got his defense to hit hard and play solid, and then rode the backs of 2 NFL running backs. Like, it just, so anyways, that was kind of my, like, just like people like. Anyways, I want to go over Miami's schedule with you real quick, and then we will let you go off into the sunset, just like our boy Stetson Bennett. Was that a good?
Yeah.
That was good. Okay.
Well, I'll take it, I guess. How's that fucker been in college for 8 years and still hadn't graduated?
Man, been taking PE classes forever. That's crazy, bro. You could have took 60%, 50% of classes and still. Okay, Miami of Ohio.
Yes, we the matchup. Everybody has been clamoring to see Miami versus Miami.
Yes. So I'm gonna pick Miami, Florida in that one.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just said Miami, Florida. I'm gonna pick Miami. Because Miami, Ohio is not even in Miami and Florida. That's what people got to realize.
Well, actually, neither one of them are in a city named Miami. The University of Miami is in Coral Gables, Florida, and Miami University is in Oxford, Ohio.
That's hilarious.
That is true.
That's hilarious.
Both called Miami, neither one in a city called Miami.
Oxford University. Never mind, that's in England.
Okay. Texas A&M versus Miami. This is big to me because both of these programs, I feel, are at similar crossroads or humps. Like, both have good recruiting classes and both have not achieved the success that either people expected or that they wanted by now. So to me, it's like, who's going to step up?
Well, one key difference, Mario is going into his second season. Jimbo's going into his fifth?
And with a loaded roster. So yes, I do agreed. And I'm talking 1 through 4. Like, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior loaded at every year.
Well, let's not forget, Texas A&M lost more people than Miami did.
That is true.
Oh, you talking about the transfer portal?
Yeah, a lot of people transferred out of Texas A&M.
Well, with that, I'm not going to say addition by subtraction, but I will say them getting in an offensive coordinator who is proven. I wonder if that is going to make up for it, or if it's going to make that. That's what I'm curious to see.
Yeah, and it might. I mean, Bobby Petrino may be a shit human being, but he is not a shit offensive coordinator.
Agreed, and that is what Texas A&M has been missing. So their offenses look very stagnant.
ATB, before you go on and talk about Miami or the team you're talking about, I'm hanging out. So thank you for letting me on. And
for sure, man. You're welcome. I appreciate you jumping on.
All right, see you guys.
Be safe, Nate.
All right, Nate.
Yeah, Huckbilly Paul says Hugh Freeze, same thing. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'll be simple with this one. I mean, that was a very close game last year. Miami does have a much more proven quarterback than A&M does. I'm not saying A&M doesn't have a talented quarterback, but he's not a proven commodity. I mean, with protection and some receivers that he can count on, we've all seen what TVD can do.
Yeah.
So, and that was really the key difference in the game last year. I mean, there were, I think, 16 incompletions. And I remember doing the post game with Traveling Pools. If I remember right, 12 of them were drop passes, and one of them was just thrown away out of bounds.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. See, those are the stats people, when they see on paper stats, they tell you a lot different than if you saw the game.
True that.
Okay. So we'll take Miami versus Texas A&M. I'm going to take Miami just because I don't know. I don't think bringing in Bobby Petrino will outweigh losing all of the talent you lost to graduation, draft, and transfer portal. I think it will be good for Texas A&M, definitely in the long run. But for that game to be, one of the first games of the season, I think it hurts you more than it helps you at that point. Okay. Y'all play BCU, which I don't know who that is, but I know it's a small school. Y'all should destroy
D2 school.
Temple, y'all will destroy them. Georgia Tech versus Miami. Will that be a good game?
Ooh, I doubt it. It wasn't a good game this past year. Miami absolutely obliterated Georgia Tech, and that's the worst Miami team since 2007.
I know Georgia Tech has they're better now as far as they hired the guy that was the interim coach. He did better. They also have Faulkner, who was he was on the offensive analyst staff that helped call plays, not just in the playoffs, but throughout the season with Bobo, behind our offensive coordinator. He is now the OC at Georgia Tech.
Sure. But here's the thing. Brent Key is the same on the coaching staff from last year. Everybody else is different.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think Georgia Tech will be better, especially by the end of the year. They'll be a lot better. But I think that same thing I said for the Texas A&M game. I think Miami brings back more experience than a team like Georgia Tech can do. So I think we'll see good things from them, but I don't. All right, Miami versus North Carolina. What about that one?
As much as I said this in Vic's video, and I kind of went back and forth on it. I want to beat North Carolina. I do, but North Carolina, since Miami has joined the conference, has just been the thorn in their side.
Gotcha.
And I no explanation, no reason why. Just North Carolina's been that team that has given them problems no matter what. So I'm going to keep the same logic, and I'm not, until I see them beat North Carolina consistently, I'm not going to pick them to beat North Carolina.
Okay. I'll just call out the two good games left, or really good. Miami versus Clemson. How you think that game will go?
I think Miami can make that game more competitive, but I don't realistically see them winning that game.
And I get it, especially with this being the first year of this great recruiting class being brought in. Seems like you guys have an offensive coordinator that everybody seems to like. I have not heard Miami be as high on an offensive coordinator yet. And then you guys got this guy, and it seems like you all really like him. And the thing I heard from Mario in that in that interview, he is a very pass happy guy, a very what did he call him? Not shotgun, not.
Well, he kind of he comes from under that Mike Leach air raid system.
That's what he said. Yes.
But okay, now you were talking about that interview Josh Pate did with Mario. Like a day, maybe two later, Shannon Dawson is the guy's name. Josh Pate did like a half hour, 45-minute interview with him in the film room.
Oh, okay.
And something he focused on is how much better this team is going to run the football this year. And that was really their Achilles heel last year, was running the ball.
That's what I heard from Mario was he brings that air raid skill, but he also helps us balance out what we've wanted to do. And he's like, we really want to run the football. we have the offensive line to run the football. And so that's it sounds good that he wants to focus on that, but it also is really good for Tyler Van Dyke that you have a coordinator who can just make things easier on you. Like,
Yeah.
so anyways, okay, and then this last one you really don't even have to say it's a toss up. Miami versus Florida State. It's towards the end of the season, so that'll wrap it up. We're going to let our boy Slim go. Thank you for jumping on, dude. Thank you for hanging out. For
Yeah,
sure.
no problem, boss. I do think I'll say this before I get out of here. I do think, like I said, they're the team. I think they're going to be kind of a wild card. They're going to be better. It's just exactly where they'll land. I still put the cap on this team at probably about 8-4.
Okay.
I think that's
Yeah.
about the best they can hope for.
But it will definitely go into next season as a huge boost.
Sure.
I like it. Okay. Well, we'll finish up. We'll let Slim go, and then I'm gonna go through Clemson's schedule real quick for our boy Huff Billy Paul, and then we'll call it a night.
All right, buddy. I'll talk at you later.
Appreciate you, Slim.
All right.
Okay. Man, that was good. I like that, guys. That was really good. We'll go through Clemson's real quick, and then we'll jump out of here. Start out Clemson versus Duke. I'm going to take Clemson by 411 points. Charleston Southern versus Clemson. It's at Clemson. I think Clemson will. Yeah, that I didn't. If you're okay with that, Paul, would love for you to call in. I'll post it. You may be able to see it already. Jay Shipes, if you want to call in too, I know we're talking about Clemson, but if you want to call in and hang out for the remainder, I'd love to have you on, dude. I mean, it's up to you though. I don't. Maybe you're finishing up a house right now, or fishing at somebody's lake, or something. All right, I'll post it in the chat. Boom. There it is. But yeah, we'll go over Clemson's schedule with our boy Huff Billy Paul. Hopefully, we'll have Jay call in to have him hang out with us, and then we'll wrap up tonight. I got you, Paul. Good deal. What's up, big dog?
Hey, so yeah, I mean, you passed over that Duke game so quick, and I'm just going to give a word of caution. Okay, it's
Okay.
It's on a Monday night at Duke, first game of the season, with Mike Elko as a coach, who's got that team organized and playing like a real football team. So, and it's the second year, so I'm a little apprehensive. I think we'll win, but
Well, and I know last year Duke was pretty good. I mean, especially for their standards. So, and you got Clemson going in with, yes, Cade is proven, but you've got Garrett Riley's first game, so it's
a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. Okay. So, but we will take Clemson to win that game.
Yeah. I mean, I do. If they don't, the sky is indeed falling.
Okay. Second game, Charleston Southern versus Clemson. We're going to take Clemson for that one.
Yeah.
Next game, Florida Atlantic. We're going to take Clemson for that one as well.
Well, hey, that's another one though. Florida Atlantic was really good last year, pretty decent, and they're an athletic team. They got some. It's like second chance U down there. And
it is, but if I'm right, Florida Atlantic had Hugh Freeze. Is that right? Or no, was that FIU?
No, that was FIU. No,
okay.
They still got the same coach they had, I think.
Okay.
So that just, I would – Clemson better not sleep on them getting ready for Florida State, which is the next game.
See? Yes, it is. No, I like that. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Don't get caught looking ahead.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Florida State versus Clemson. I need to hear your thoughts.
Well, because we're at home, number one, that's probably going to be the edge for this game. But it is going to be a knockdown, drag out, slugfest of epic proportions. I mean, I wouldn't put money on this game regardless, either side, because it is even at the end of the day, a block punt, a key turnover, and you're on the outside looking in. You know what I mean? So this game's going to be pivotal, and everybody's got this circle already on the map, and I think we're going to have a battle. I think it's going to be a real battle.
God, okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Um,
And it'll be good for both. It'll be good for both teams to have a battle for a damn change. I mean, it's about time. It'd be great to have some competition every now and then. But
that is very true. You guys actually have a stretch of a few games, which is kind of cool. You have Florida State, you've got Syracuse, Wake
that's
Forest,
yeah.
Miami, and North Carolina State.
Yeah, so Syracuse, are we at home on Syracuse or away? I think we're away, aren't we?
It's at Syracuse.
Yeah, we're away. We're in the Carrier, the beautiful Carrier Dome that doesn't have air conditioning, even though it's the Carrier Air Conditioning Company's dome. Very interesting, but no, that game will win. I feel bad for Dino Babers, one of my favorite, kind of a personal tug at the heartstrings coach. I just love the way he is and how he is, but we're going to beat them. I'm not worried about that one. The Wake
Okay.
Forest game, okay. I'm really not as worried about it as some others are at Clemson right now. Some of the fan bases, because they still think of Hartman being the quarterback, and he isn't. And they're breaking in a new quarterback, but the coach is still there, and the scheme is still there, and it is a very unique mesh, slow developing mesh scheme on offense. So they do present or give you a problem that's kind of like Navy playing Navy, you know the option, triple option. It's that kind of a feel to it. So I think we'll be fine in that game because we got such talent on defense. We got that young guy from Alabama, that number one defensive player. They say he's like a man child on the field. He's going to play day one. He'll probably start as a true freshman. That's how impressive he's been. So I think we'll blow up that line and take Wake. I don't think that one will be a problem.
And I do think, y'all's offense being better, like I said, being more sustainable, not having DJ throw you guys out of possession. Your defense doesn't have to stay on the field the whole game. Just
Yep.
allows for more, just a complete football team.
Right. They can complement one another versus
Yes.
one of them just dragging up the rear end every damn game, which is what we
Yeah.
did all last year.
So I like that. ECG said it's the JMA wireless dome now. They got bought out. He said, and they've done many renovations to it. It's great. So that's good to hear.
Thankfully, because
That
it was a hot mess there for years. I mean, I was like, why do you blow a balloon up in at blizzard conditions, and then it caves in because of the heavy snow? I'm like, it seems like something's not thought through here.
So we've got the Wake Forest, we've got the Miami, which I think you guys will beat Miami. And I saw your comment earlier about, they will give you a scare. What about North Carolina State? Are they any good?
So that's a dangerous. I think it's coming at a dangerous spot in the calendar because I think Notre Dame's coming soon.
Yeah,
right
next.
behind.
Yeah, right after.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it's at NC State, is it not?
Let me check. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
at NC State. That's another.
Yeah. Problem. Red flag. Trap game. Watch.
That's pretty cool. ECG said they have a piece of the roof. They redid it, but they have a piece of it. His wife played there for field hockey.
Oh, cool. No, they have
That's
a great
cool.
field hockey team. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So Notre Dame, I'm not even going to speak on the Georgia Tech game. I think you guys will kill them. But
yeah, I'm not worried about Georgia.
The last 3 out of 4 games, You got Notre Dame, who's second year with Marcus Freeman. They're planning to get better.
Yeah.
And what quarterback did they just get? They got a transfer.
They took the one from Wake Forest last year.
That's
He
right,
was a
Sam
Heisman
Hartman.
candidate. Yeah.
Yes.
He will be a Heisman candidate this year for sure.
Well, and he's going to be on a much better team, or a more talented team anyway. So you got that. That's a tough game. Then you have North Carolina and then South Carolina.
But the good news is, out of all that, I think North Carolina and Notre Dame are at Clemson, right?
Yes, you're right.
So that helps. I'm just talking Notre Dame first, but those two help in that regard. The South Carolina one, we got a whole other conundrum going on there. But with Notre Dame, it's going to be just like that Florida State game. It depends on what each team's season has done to this point. If Clemson slips up and has a loss, loses to a team they should have beaten, or vice versa, Notre Dame does, it'll take the sting out of this game to a large extent. But if they both come in hot and they're firing on all cylinders, getting to this game, another knockdown, drag out. I wouldn't bet on it. Either way, I just clench and hold on and pray to God. That's about all I could say. But that's going to be a good game. Yeah.
Agreed. Definitely that game. The North Carolina game, I think, will be a good one. Notre Dame and North Carolina, great games. The South Carolina Clemson game. That'll be the final prediction, guys, and then we'll shut the show down. And then I'll start up a legendary game stream like always. But Clemson versus South Carolina. South Carolina last year got the best of Clemson, and not by a little bit.
No, they actually did do it by a little bit. They got it by 1 point. So
are you serious?
They beat us by 1 point. It wasn't like the Tennessee game. We were ahead.
Oh, I'm thinking the Tennessee game.
Yeah. Now we were ahead 14 points, and then we started to play Keystone Cops on a punt return or a kickoff return or something, and then proceeded to throw the ball on the ground, and then when we got the ball back, we were running the ball at will, but we chose not to run it anymore. We decided we didn't think we needed to, and so we started throwing the ball and 3 and outs and interceptions and all kinds of crazy shit going on, and we lose the game by 1 point because of stupidity in coaching. That's what it was. That's why Streeter got fired, essentially. I mean, that was the game.
Yeah, I see. Okay, 31-30. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and that's crazy. Yes, South Carolina beating you guys. Plus, it's a huge rivalry, so it's more than just.
We were at home. That was
the
real thing that got me. We were at home. Now, this one's on at South Carolina this year. So, and it's a hard place to play in because the vitriol and the hate is outside of LSU at night, I don't know what's a harder place to play at. Maybe Tennessee, they throw things at you there too. But they definitely throw things at the players. They throw things on the field. It's nasty. If you have any Clemson stickers on your car, it's going to be vandalized. I mean, it's a nasty place to go play.
Well, I'll say this before I let you go.
Yep.
DJ was 8 of 29 for 99 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception with a 26 quarterback rating, which is disgusting.
I told people this before. I slammed the wall in here. A picture fell off, hit the floor, glass broke, went everywhere. My hand went through the wall. I had to repair the whole damn wall during that game. That's how bad that game was. It was insanity. It was complete insanity.
Spencer Rattler, 25 of 39 for 360 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And I say all that to say, terrible game by DJ, great game by Spencer. And South Carolina only won by 1.
Spencer Rattler looked good.
But I'm saying they only won by 1 point. So you bringing in a new offensive coordinator, it should take
QB. Care of it. If finally Clubby gets a shot. Yeah.
Yes. So there you go. I do see that. You guys have Will Shipley coming back, which is a great compliment.
And Maffa man.
That's right.
Maffa's awesome.
Phil Maffa. So very, very exciting. Well, and next stream I'll go over some different teams as well. I like going over teams aside from Georgia, just to kind of get everybody's opinion on them.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, it'll be a great year to watch. I think it's going to be the best year of football in the last 10,
yeah.
10 to 12 years, honestly.
Well, and especially with the excitement of the 12-team playoff coming up, everybody's gearing up to just be a better competitor. You know,
Yep.
like, hey, now it's not just before it was the top 2 teams, then it's the top 4, and now it's like, whoa, it's top 12. So if you're anywhere in that 15 to 20 range,
You got a chance.
yes. So thank you, my
All
boy.
right,
I
man.
love you.
Yes, sir. Love you too.
Thank God, love you. We are going to end the stream. So
Yep.
I will see you guys on the flip side.
All right.
And Mr.
In a little
Clemson,
bit.
man.
All right.
Hope you have a good night. See you after Billy. So yeah, shout out guys, shout out to all of you. Thank you all for hitting the like button. If you have not, still thank you for hanging out. This was fun. We'll definitely get back to it. And next time I will have my boy on here fishing and we will have a blast. We'll do backflips, cartwheels, all that. We'll pin the tail on the donkey and have water balloon fights all on stream. So yeah. Peace out, guys. Thank y'all.